Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time coming across this channel, my name is Grace and I share pattern drafting, sewing tutorials and related stuff on this particular channel. If these are things that you are interested in, make sure that you click on the subscribe button and also turn on your notification bell. So in this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to draft a two-part corset. A two-part corset is the type of corset that the cups are in two parts. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure that you watch this tutorial to the end and also stay tuned for the sewing aspect of this tutorial, which is going to be up next after this particular pattern drafting and cutting tutorial. So with no further ado, let's get into the video and start learning. To start with, on the top of my pattern paper, I drew a straight line across, and that line is going to serve as my shoulder line. So from there, I'll take the other vertical measurements. So from the shoulder, I'm going to be taking my chest line measurement first, and my chest line is at 8 inches. Then I'll mark 8 inches and draw a straight line across. To get your chest line measurement, you just have to divide your bust circumference by 6 and add 2 inches to that. So that's the chest line. Then the next line I'm going to mark is the bust point. So my bust point is at 10 inches and I'm going to be drawing a straight line across it like that also. Then I'll proceed to mark my under bust. My under bust is at 13 inches, so I'll mark that and also draw a straight line across it like that. The next is my waistline, and my waistline is at 17 inches, so I'll measure from my shoulder line down to 17 inches, which is my waistline, and I will also draw a straight line across. So for this corset that I'm making, the full length is going to be around 22 inches. So I have 21 inches on my pattern and I'm going to just save that as the top length for the corset that I'm making. So on the shoulder line, I'll proceed to place my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on it and also on the chest line. Then I will connect both points together with a straight line. So this is just me trying to make a basic bodice pattern. So for the neck width, I'll use 3 inches, and for the neck depth, I'm also going to use 3 inches. Then I'll connect both together to form the neck cuff. So on this line, I'll come down by 1 inch and connect to the neckline with a slope to form the shoulder slope or the shoulder slants. And I'll measure what I have left in between this line, mark the midpoint, then come to this chest line to place the measurement of my bust circumference divided by 4. Then I'll go in by half of an inch on that middle line and I'll connect those 3 points together to form my armhole. So I do this a lot on the channel and it's just like drafting a basic bodice. So on the bust point, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 and place it on the bust point, the under bust, the waistline and also the top length. So mine is 4 because my nipple to nipple is 8 inches and that divided by 2 gives me 4. So I connected those points together from the bust point to the top length. Now on the under bust area, I'm going to come out by 1 inch on both sides, and I will also place that 1 inch on both sides on the waistline and also on the top length line. So this is just to get the under bust tightening, and I will connect with a straight line to meet the top length line like so. When I'm done, I'll come down from the bust point by half of an inch. Then I'll connect with a little bit of cuff to meet that under bust point. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is measure what I have on the shoulder area and divide it into 2. I'll mark that and I'll connect that with a slant to the bust point. Now after doing this, I'm going to be determining how covered I want my corset to be at the end of the day. I'm not going to be using a ready-made cup for this corset. I'm going to be making my own cup, so I am free to determine how covered I want this to be. So I'm going to be using an off shoulder of about 6.5 inches if I measure from the shoulder. So that means I'm just going to be coming up from the chest line by about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 6.5 from the shoulder, and that is going to be where the break point of the corset is going to be. So if you want yours to be opened, if you want it to show more cleavages, you can come down a little bit from that, and if you want yours to be more covered, you can go up than that, but it's just okay for me at this point. Now from that slanted line that is coming from the shoulder down to the bust point, I'm going to be marking half an inch on both sides from that red line that I just created. So I'm just going to be marking half an inch away from this slanted line. As you can see me doing it like this, and I'll connect those points to the bust points. So you can just use your ruler, or if you don't have this ruler, you can as well use your free hand to do all these things that I'm doing. But if you have your curved ruler, it's going to be way easier for you. So just connect those points to the bust points. Now the next thing that you are going to do now is to determine the bust bridge, where the bust bridge is going to be on this. So for me, I think I'm just going to be coming down from that new line that I created now by 1 inch. That's where I want the bust bridge to be. That's the space that is going to be in between the corset, and it's going to measure half an inch. So I'm just marking half an inch over there. Then I'm going to be taking my curved rule again. Then I'll connect from one end of the over bust tightening that I just created now to meet that half an inch. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, just watch what I'm doing. So I'm just going to connect it to meet that half an inch. Then from that half an inch again to meet the under bust. So that's how I create the first cup. Remember, we are making a two-part corset, so this is one of the parts of the corset. Now to work on the next part of this corset, I'm going to be measuring what I have in between this place, that armhole area, and I'll mark the midpoint. Then from the end of the other parts of that over bust tightening, I'm going to be drawing a curve to meet that new place that I marked, and from that new place to also meet the under bust. So I'm just going to place my curve rule in a way to form a cup. So voila, as you can see, we have created the two parts of the corset. So when I'm cutting, I'm just going to be cutting all the way around. You see I'm going to cut it at the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead now and mark those places out that I'll be cutting. Then I'm going to be taking my side measurements. So on the chest line, I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, place it, and then I'll mark what I have in between that dot over there, and I'll place it on the chest line. Then on my waistline, I'll divide my waist by 4, mark it, then place what I have in between the dots, which is 2 inches. I'll do the same thing on the top length, only that I'm going to be using my hip line now, and I'm going to mark my hip line divided by 4 and also replace what I have on the dot or inside the dot. Then I'll connect those points together to form the side of my pattern. So after doing this, I'm also going to go ahead and add 1 inch for our sewing allowance, because I'm going to be using this pattern to make a tube corset top. So I'm just adding my sewing allowance all the way around, as you can see. Also at the side of this corset, I want a shape. So I don't want it to just be straight. So from the top length, I'll go up by about 3 inches or 3.5 inches, depending on how deep you want the side to be. So I just want it to be curved. Then I'm going to use my curved rule to just curve it to meet the first dart leg over there. So this is going to give it like a kind of curve at the edge. Is not going to be sharp, and the middle is going to look like a basque. So I'm just going to mark this. So this is my center, this is the side, and I'm just placing arrows to not be confused at the end of the day. So just go ahead and cut the patterns out. So I'm going to be cutting out the dots, all those places that I marked. So just watch the way I'm cutting out the cups, and I'm also going to be cutting that bust bridge area away, as you can see. So this is the second cup, and this is the side of the front. So these are the pieces that I'm going to be using for the front pattern, as you can see. So I'm just going to be notching the bust point of my cups. Those are the two parts of the cups that makes it a two-part corset. Next, I'm going to be working on the back pattern, and I've already drawn out the basic lines. So I have my chest line here, the bust point, and this is the waistline. So the back is going to be stopping at the waistline because we already took out some parts of the front at the side, remember. So the back is going to end at the waistline. So I'm marking my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 on the chest line, the bust point, and the waistline. Then on the markings on the waistline, I'm going to come out by half an inch on both sides, just the way we do our normal darts. I'll connect the 3 first lines together with a straight line, then I'll connect the 2 at the sides to the chest line with a slant to form a normal dart. So for the sides, I'm going to be placing my measurements. So I'm going to be placing my waist measurement on the waistline, and I'll add what I have in between the darts, and I'll also mark my bust circumference on the chest line. Then I'll connect those together. So the back is going to start at this chest line area, but I don't want it to just be straight. So from that chest line area, I'll come down by half of an inch, and I'll connect like this to meet that point, just to give it this curvy shape at the center back. So I'll cut this out now. Then I'm going to cut the waist and the side. Though I almost forgot to add seam allowance or sewing allowance to the side, but I remembered, so I added 1 inch allowance to the side of this pattern, just like the way I did to the front, and I'm just going to cut that out. So this is the piece we are going to be needing for the back. And to make the back of the corset, the center back, which is going to be carrying loops or eyelets, I'm just going to mark in 2 inches from the center back like this, and I'll connect it together. Then I'll cut that out because that part is not going to be needed. We are going to be having loops at the back of this corset. So this is just to indicate where the loops are going to sit. So this is the pattern that we are going to be needing for the back. For the back, I'm going to be just be taping in the darts because I don't want the darts to be showing on the dress. So I just folded in the dart, and I used my sellotape to secure it like this so that I can cut it as one piece on my fabric. I'm also going to be doing something similar to the front pattern. I'm going to match both the center front and the side front together like this, and I'll also use my tape to tape it down. This is just to avoid joinings if you don't want it on your corset, but if you want it, you can as well go ahead and just leave it, cut it separately, and join it together at the end of the day. So yeah, these are the pieces we are going to be needing, and this denim material here is what I'm going to be using to cut out this corset pattern. So I have it folded into 2 like this, and I'll just place my front on it, making sure that the center front is on fold. Then I'll pin it all together, and I'll also pin the back. The back doesn't have to be on fold because it's going to be in 2 separate pieces, but the front is going to be in 1 piece. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. On the down part, I'm going to be adding 1 inch. Remember, the pattern paper was shorter than 1 inch, so that's why I'm adding 1 inch at that area. Then all this side, the cup area, I'm adding just half an inch, and also to the top area, while I don't add any allowance to the side. I'm doing the same thing for the back. Add 1 inch to the downside, then add half an inch to the other places. Then also for the cups, I'm going to be adding half an inch all the way around. So for the cup patterns, make sure that you keep them properly all through your sewing process, because you are going to be needing it, as the cups looks very identical, and placing one where the other is supposed to be can cause your sewing to look somehow. So yeah, that's it. And I'm also going to go ahead and notch the bust point area where I notched on the pattern on the fabric also. And I also use my chalk to mark the arrows of how they will be joined together. So in the next tutorial, we're going to be joining these pieces together to make a tube corset top like this. So if you are yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe now and click on your notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post the sewing aspects of this tutorial. Don't also forget to give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, and if you have any question, I'll be in the comment section answering you. So thank you for watching. Bye till I see you in my next tutorial.